All right, it's another game that the Lions just get pushed around again.
You are Locked On Lions, your daily Detroit Lions podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, here we go, everybody. Matt Dery with you. It is Locked On Lions, Locked On Podcast Network, the number one sports podcast network on a postgame Sunday, December 21st into Monday, December 22nd. Lions fall to the Pittsburgh Steelers 29-24 at Ford Field. The Lions' playoff hopes are now dwindling down to 23%. If they don't win they need to win their last two games and knock off Minnesota and Chicago and hope that Green Bay loses their last two. That's it. And the Lions got their asses kicked tonight. They got their asses kicked. I don't want to hear about the refs. I don't want to hear about the last play. I don't want to hear about Dan Campbell should have kicked the field goal. Should have kicked the field goal. No. What we're going to talk about for the next 27 minutes is how this team got pushed around by Pittsburgh. Fourth string left tackle, second string left guard. The Lions got manhandled. The grit. Villains. Where's Brad Holmes with his villain sweatshirt? Dan, wear that grit hat one more time. Your team got their asses kicked. Period. I don't want to hear about anything else. Oh, but I've never seen a Lions game end on an offensive pass interference and the refs. No. Not today. We ain't doing that today. The Detroit Lions got pushed around. The Pittsburgh Steelers came into today the 28th best team running the football in the NFL. That's the fifth worst in all the league. The Lions made Jaylen Warren and Kenneth Gainwell look like Harris and Blyer. For those of you that don't know who that is, Google it. Franco Harris and Rocky Blyer. Google it. The Pittsburgh Steelers are an average football team. Oh, but they came into Ford Field today. You got a 47,000-year-old quarterback. He's dancing on you. And the Lions just didn't do anything about it. There was no fight today. This team came out in the first quarter and looked flat. Trademark Mark Spindler. Flat. Needed a win. Must win. Crowds there. Nance and Romo there making excuses. Tony Romo did 3.5 hours making excuses. Oh, but the Lions don't have Brian Branch. Oh, the Lions don't have Kirby Joseph. The Steelers run their fourth string left tackle. The Steelers didn't have TJ Watt or Nick Herbig today. I don't want to hear about no Branch and no Joseph. Oh, you think the Lions might, Tony Romo, you think the Lions might miss Frank Ragnow? Oh, duh. You think? Dumbass? You think? They guys playing center today who aren't NFL players. But that's on the front office. That's on Brad Holmes. That's on Dan Campbell. Oh, we really like Kingsley Aguakin. You liked him enough that in the middle of the game he was taken out. You're rotating centers and guards like it's the AL Central. This is A.J. Hinch with Jahmai Jones. This is Stephen Vogt with... This was embarrassing. I'm sorry. You're fighting for... You have a chance still to win. Well, coming in today, you had a chance to win the division. The NFC North was still up for grabs coming in today. You come out and play like a bunch of wimps? Lions got manhandled today. He gave up 230 yards rushing to the fifth worst rushing offense in football. Fifth straight game now. You've given up over 27 points. The defense can't get off the field. Oh, but they're hurt. Everybody's got injuries. Everybody, folks. Everybody does. This was embarrassing. That tough atmosphere at Ford Field. It's a tough place to play. Teams come in here and do whatever they want. Dallas put up 34. Giants and Jameis Winston, they were dancing on your ass. And the Lions have done nothing about it. They have done nothing to change it since the Tampa game on October the 20th. Where's my schedule? Lions played inspired ball on defense against the Bucs on that Monday night game. And by the way, the Bucs stink. Minnesota came in here and you got clowned by JJ McCarthy. Giants came in here, you got clowned by Jameis Winston. Packers came in here, Jordan Love dropped his pants. Dallas came in here and Dak did his thing, and luckily the Lions put up 40 points. And today you got owned by Aaron Rodgers and Freiermuth and Scotty Miller and DK Metcalf, who's out punching fans. He's punching fans in the middle of the game, grabbing fans in the middle of the game. He stayed in the game. And NFL is hilarious. They don't know what's going on. They don't know how to end the game properly with the refs. How does a player touch a fan and stay in the game? Oh, but the league will look into it. Oh, okay. Yeah, thanks. Stay in the game. That Steelers offense is buns. It's trash. I like Gainwell. He's good. Lions made him look like the second coming today. Oh, my God. Every time Kenneth Gainwell touched the ball, it was like, oh, no. Jaylen Warren running for 45-yard touchdowns like it's Halloween collecting Reese's. Meantime, the Lions and Jahmyr Gibbs couldn't have gotten any rushing yards today on East Tawas. 7 carries, 2 yards. That starts up front. Offensive line blows. Defensive line stinks. Oh, but Aleem's still coming back from his... Stop with the excuses. Lion fans, you should be furious. I am furious at this performance. I don't want to hear about the end of the game. We'll talk about it because that's what I got to do. We'll hand out game balls. I'll talk about the O-line. I'll talk about the end of the game. Talk about the refs. We'll do everything. But I'm telling you, and Dan Campbell said it after the game, and props to the head coach for saying it, even though he's as guilty as anybody for how this team is unmotivated to play. We have nobody to blame but ourselves. It's on us, end quote. Dan, you are exactly right. This team has dug itself a hole, and now we thought they'd climb out of it. We figured, all right, Pittsburgh at home, got to win that game. Steelers aren't that great. They're in a lousy division. They're due to lose. They had played well the last couple of weeks, but you watched that game. Did those look like two good teams to you? How did Pittsburgh even allow the Lions back into this game? As Boswell doinks a field goal, Lions come right down the field because Pittsburgh's pass defense is atrocious. That secondary sucks. It's Joey Porter and a bunch of no-namers. That's not a good Steeler team. Mike Tomlin is an excellent coach. The Steelers always have a winning record. The Steelers will lose in the first round. And see, but Pittsburgh has this bar that's very high. I don't know if Tomlin's going to get fired, but since the fans yelled fire Tomlin a few weeks ago, they've run off 3 straight wins. Time to put the villain sweatshirts and the grit hats away. And it's time to reinvent the identity of this Detroit Lions team, because right now, I don't know what the identity is. They got a lot of offensive weapons. We know that. The Lions can put up points. We know that. But the offensive line is a dumpster fire. The defensive line is getting mauled every week. Last week, the Rams did it. This week, the Steelers did it. It's one thing when you're going up against that Rams O-line and Kyron Williams and Blake Corum. It's another thing today when Jaylen Warren and Kenneth Gainwell are popping off. Who? Kenneth Gainwell, 45-yard run for a touchdown. Jaylen Warren, 45-yard run for a touchdown. Jaylen Warren, another 45-yard run for a touchdown. 63,000 fans had to witness that. The Lions look like mashed potatoes out there. Locked On Lions, Sunday edition. Much more to do on this program. Unacceptable performance has led to unacceptable results. This team is now 8-7. This team has a chance to finish with a losing record. I don't think it's going to happen, but it's a chance. Minnesota's all banged up. J.J. McCarthy's hurt. Jordan Addison's dropping balls. Christmas Day, it might be Max Brosmer for all we know. But you know what? The Vikings would love nothing more than to sweep the Lions. And even though Minnesota is no good, and they did win today, we know the Vikings are well coached. I'm not so sure the Lions are right now. Offense, defense, special teams, I don't know. Talk about this defense next. All right, everybody, a Locked On Lions for today, brought to you by our friends. If I could just find, this has just been that kind of day. I'm trying to find the beautiful graphic, and there it is. We are brought to you and sponsored today on a Sunday by our friends at Car Gurus. Car shopping should feel exciting, not confusing. And with Car Gurus, you get the confidence you deserve. They cut through all the noise so you can actually see the best deals on the cars you want. Because when it comes to a big purchase, you deserve the best deal. And Car Gurus makes that whole process simple by giving you real information, real deal ratings, and more listings than anyone else. You can shop the way you want. Use Car Gurus deal ratings to compare cars quickly without having to guess whether the price is fair. Having verified dealerships and upfront pricing makes the whole thing feel transparent and stress-free. Car Gurus connects you with trusted dealerships for a transparent and hassle-free buying process. With over 4 million listings, the most of any major online automotive marketplace, you'll always find the best deal. Shop the way you want with the tools, data, and unbiased deal rankings that make it easy. Buy or sell your next car today at cargurus.com. That's CARGURUS.com. Cargurus.com. Go get gurued. All right, it is Locked On Lions for a Sunday edition, Locked On Podcast Network. Indeed, your team every day, and the #1 sports podcast network. Matt Dery with you. Been with you doing the show for 10 years, folks, and this is disappointing. It is disappointing to say the least. The expectations were high. We knew the schedule was going to be difficult. We knew there were good teams on the schedule this year. We knew it wasn't going to be a 15-2 type of season again. But the way this team is playing and the way the defense is playing, they can't stop anybody. They can't block anybody. It has made for now a situation where the Lions need a lot of help and a miracle to get into the playoffs. They've got to win their last 2 games, and Green Bay has to lose their last 2. Packers play the Ravens next week and then the Vikings. And good luck trying to get all of that help. It just does not look good. And the Lions have nobody to blame but themselves. They have been treading on thin ice for weeks. They have not played well. This is the first time they've lost back-to-back games since 2022. The Packers host the Ravens next week, play at Minnesota, excuse me, in week 18. It's possible. But do you have any faith that in a must-win game at Soldier Field in week 18 that the Lions are going to beat the Bears? And look, the Bears aren't great. That's the other thing that is so frustrating. And I know maybe I'm guilty of this, and maybe I've been wrong the last couple of weeks when I've watched certain games. Like I watched Bears, Packers a couple of weeks ago, and I got on this show and I said, man, those teams look better than the Lions. And then I watched Rams, Seahawks Thursday night, and I said, man, what'd I say Friday? Man, those teams look better than the Lions. I don't think there's any great teams. I'm not sitting there going, ooh, Seattle, oh, the Lions couldn't beat them. Lions have the capability when they're on of beating a lot of teams. They have a lot of talent. But for 4 straight games now, Jahmyr Gibbs has not been able to run the ball. The Lions have not been able to run the ball. Today, they went into the game without Graham Glasgow, without Coyote Awashika, and without Tristan Colon. So instead, they got Christian Mahogany back, and he was a tire fire out there. He was god-awful. He looked rusty. They started Kingsley Eguakin at center, undrafted, second-year player who had never played before, at least in an NFL game, and regular season. And then Michael Neese rotated in. Miles Frazier rotated in at left guard for Mahogany, who kept missing blocks. Then Jim Nantz was saying, oh, Miles Frazier is playing center. No, he's not. That was Nantz and Romo were a D- today. Romo kept making excuses for the Lions. He kept going, man, we got a game. It's a great game. Isn't it a great game? It was entertaining. But those were two teams that Steelers are like, we don't want it. You take it. Lions are, we don't want it. You take it. How the Lions were even in that game at the end is beyond me. They were lucky to be in that game. I want to tell you something here. You're not going to win a lot of games in the NFL when the opposing team averages per carry 8.5 yards on the ground. 8.5. And you averaged 1.3. Jahmyr Gibbs rushed 7 times for 2 yards. David Montgomery, yes, he's still on the team, 4 carries for 14 yards. And Jared Goff had 1 carry for -1 yard. Goff had to throw the ball 54 times today against the Steelers. Have you watched Pittsburgh this year? And look, I respect Pittsburgh. All right. I grew up in Cleveland. I watched the Steelers beat our ass forever. All right. I have a ton of respect for them. They've won a ton of Super Bowls. I was at the Super Bowl in Detroit when they won. I walked into that stadium 3 hours early, and it was all Steeler fans waving those terrible towels. I respect them. I've also watched a lot of their games this year. They're not that good. Yeah, all those Pro Bowlers like Gainwell and 10,000-year-old Adam Thielen and a fan swatting DK Metcalf and Darnell Washington. He's fun. Freiermuth, who never touches the ball much. Love that Scotty Miller portion of the game where the 30-year-old journeyman who's played on 18 teams is catching passes all over your defensive backs. Yes, I'm MVS just scares me to death. Come on. Let's get real here. Give Aaron Rodgers credit. He's playing well, playing good football. But you should not have been embarrassed like that today. Giving up 3 45-yard touchdowns. 3. $12 carries, 15 yards. The Lions had 70 yards rushing last week. Back-to-back games below 75 yards rushing. That is pathetic. But hey, let's draft Hendon Hooker in the 3rd round and Tesla and Zione Vaki. Last 2 years, Brad Holmes drafting is now coming back to bite them, and the lack of free agent signings. And I'm not going into this deeply and telling you that the Lions need to be like the Patriots or like the Tennessee or the Giants, giving Brian Burns a lot of money. But this offseason sucked. Do you know who the line? I could go down the street right now or down Woodward or wherever, Hall Road, and ask people, do you know who the Lions' 1st round pick was this year? Could you name him? Tyleik Williams. Has he done anything this year? He doesn't make an impact. And I'm not just picking on him. Aleem McNeil finally made a play like late in the game. And I was over at my friend Brandon and Rainey Litke's house. Brandon, of course, is the brother of the executive producer of this program, as we like to call him, Nathan Litke. They are P1 listeners. They are everydayers. Shout outs to our everydayers. We'll tell you about the Everydayers Club in a second. Please come join us. But Brandon's like, whoa, Aleem McNeil made a play. Like, finally, a TFL from Aleem McNeil. Jack Campbell's out there by himself on defense. And he overran a couple of plays today. Thomas Harper today, I can't wait to see the PFF grade tomorrow. Holy hell, was he bad. And I get it. Brian Branch is out there. If might be a different story. Romo wasn't wrong about that. But other guys have to step up. The Steelers didn't have TJ Watt or Nick Herbig today, and Alex Highsmith was living in the Lions' backfield. Holy hell. Lions, you want to block 56? And this offensive line, I mean, the shuffling in of guys, what do you expect? They have no depth on their offensive line. None. And yes, I'm excited about the future of Mahogany. I think he's going to be decent. I like Tate Ratledge, but he's not played well. Center position this year has just been a clown show. Absolute clown car. That poor kid, Kingsley Aguakin, not his fault, I guess. Wasn't ready. Got to go up against Cam Hayward. Where's our Cam Hayward? We don't have him. Yes, I will hand out some game balls. I got to think about this one. Lions fall today to the Pittsburgh Steelers 29-24 at Ford Field. The Lions have lost 3 home games this year. They end their season 5-3 at home. And if you go back to last year's playoff game, they're just 5-4 in their last 9 home games. Ouch. All right, everybody, Locked On Lions for this Sunday performance. As once again, I just am not prepared to hit my graphics, and this is terrible podcasting, and I should be reprimanded. We're brought to you by FanDuel. Yes, NFL Sundays move fast. One big play, and suddenly everything feels different. That's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. If you had the Steelers plus 7 points today on FanDuel, man, you must have made a killing. That was easy money. With FanDuel, you can place bets as the action unfolds. Every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment. Live betting is best when the game starts to shift. Receiver gets hot, defense tightens up, or the momentum flips after a turnover. You want to get on the action for tomorrow night? The 49ers are 5.5-point favorites over the Colts. You want to do some live betting during the game of Monday Night Football? It's a big game, actually. You can do so on FanDuel. They let you jump into the moment. You have live spreads and money lines that adjust instantly. You got player prop updates as guys heat up. You can bet next touchdown scores, drive results, totals, and more. It keeps you locked in every snap, every drive, every possibility. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your live NFL bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, and so can you. All right, Lions a loser today to the Steelers 29-24. Lions must win their last 2 games against Minnesota on Christmas Day in Minnesota and then at Chicago week 18 against the Bears. What a win for the Bears last night. Jeez. Nice job, Packers. And Green Bay has to lose next week at home against the Ravens and at Minnesota for the Lions to somehow make the playoffs at 10-7. Lions dropped to 8-7 today. Last play of the game, as it was explained by the officials. Lions had a 4th and goal, as you know. Jared Goff dropped back. He hit Amon-Ra St. Brown at the goal line. He was actually short of the line to gain. He was tackled out near about the 3 or 4 yard line, and as he was going down, he pitched the ball back to Jared Goff, who jumped into the end zone. The officials ruled after seemed like 15 minutes of chaos. They ruled that Amon-Ra St. Brown pushed off on Jaylen Ramsey in the end zone for offensive pass interference, and because the game had ended, it can end on an offensive penalty, which it did in that situation. So you wipe away the touchdown. I thought St. Brown's forward progress was stopped anyway. I did think it was a push-off. I'm not going to go. I thought the play, the offensive pass interference on Tesla that freed St. Brown on the touchdown 2 or 3 plays earlier, I thought was a Bush League call. I didn't think it was a good call. I didn't see that as a pick like the Darnell Washington play earlier in the game. But let me tell you this. I'm not going to blame the officiating, and I'm not going to whine about it because the Lions had to be in that position just to come down for a miracle finish to try to beat a very beatable Pittsburgh team. I didn't love the Tesla pick play. I thought he was running his route. St. Brown was open. A lot of times that does not get called. But the last play, yeah, I thought St. Brown pushed him. I do. Well, there's going to be some of you that go, oh, they should just let that play go. It shouldn't have to take the last play of the game for St. Brown to catch the ball at the 2-yard line and backwards lateral it to your quarterback who dives in to have to win a football game at home in December. If that's the case, you're not a good enough team. And you know what? The Lions aren't. They're not. They're not good enough. The offensive coordinator situation has been a joke all season. You got your head coach having to call the plays. It's not working. They're not winning. And on defense, your defensive coordinator, who at the start of the season I thought was doing a good job. But Kelvin Shepard said last week on Thursday, hey, a couple big plays against the Rams that we take away and we would have won that game. And I can stand here behind this podium and on this table and tell you we weren't getting pushed around. Well, guess what, Kelvin? You kind of did today, bro. Not good. And the Eagles went through this a couple of years ago, if you recall, when they lost both coordinators. I think it was Shane Steichen and Jonathan Gannon. Steichen became the coach of the Colts. Gannon became the coach of the Cardinals. They replaced him with like Sean Desai and Matt Patricia. And it didn't work. And the Eagles bagged both guys and started over. And the next year they won the Super Bowl, or was that last year? I think so. I'm not going to bury the Lions. I'm not going to tell you the run is over. Not at all. If they lose next week or they don't make the playoffs or whatever it is, I'm not going to tell you it's over. But it's time to bring down the narrative about how they're the darlings of the league and how everybody models themselves after the Lions. The Lions have done a great job in building this thing, but this season's not working. And they need to make some changes. And they need to upgrade the offensive line. They need to upgrade the defensive line. They're not winning up front. So, plain and simple. As far as game balls go today, I mean, do I give Jared Goff a game ball? I mean, he threw for 364 yards, 3 touchdowns, passer rating of 101.2. He was sacked 3 times. He's a little bit scared back there, and I think he's very wary of his O-line, and there's a reason why this team was trying to get Frank Ragnow back. So I guess I will give Jared Goff a game ball for standing in there, but he didn't make enough plays. I could jokingly give a game ball to the Lions' new favorite target, Anthony Ferkser, who caught 4 passes. I did think Jack Campbell, for the most part today, played well. 16 tackles, 7 solo, and 2 passes defended. I thought he had a good game. Jack Campbell. I did. Aiden Hutchinson, a couple of sacks, now in double digits with sacks. I'll give him a game ball today. He just doesn't have any help. And I don't know why he wasn't lined up more on the left side of the Steelers O-line, on the Lions' right side, to go up against the 4th-string tackle, Dylan Cook, who actually did a pretty decent job today on the other pass rushers for the Lions. Lions had 2 sacks today, both by Aiden Hutchinson. But as far as game balls go, that is it. All right. We got a short week this week. Tuesday, Noah Eagle is going to join us. He is going to be on the call for the Netflix game on Thursday for Lions Vikings at 4:30. It'll also be on locally. I'll let you know what channel it is, whether it's Fox 2, Channel 7, whatever. For the Lions and Vikings, Noah is going to join us on Tuesday. And Wednesday, we'll talk to Luke Braun from Locked On Vikings and do the crossover. PFF grades tomorrow. Thanks for putting up with the rants today. This has been a Sunday Locked On Lions. Lions lose 29-24 to the Steelers. My phone alarm's going off. Please join our Everydayers Club as well, everybody. If you want to be an everyday, or if you are an everydayer, join the Everydayers Club. You could do so by going to, I never remember the website because I'm just all over the place tonight, LockedOnLions.com. supercast.com. Join the Everydayers Club. Just do it. Get more info. LockedOnLions.supercast.com. We are back again tomorrow.